VAR drama at Old Trafford. Did technology fail Manchester United again? Welcome to Unite United News, your most trusted source for honest Manchester United coverage. At Unite United News, we never shy away from the tough conversations, and today we need to talk about something that has left every Red Devils fan asking the same question. How did VAR get it so wrong against Burnley? We all know that feeling when you think your team should have had a penalty, and the officials wave it away. But what happened at Old Trafford in the 15th minute against Burnley was something different. It was one of those moments that makes you question whether technology is really helping football or making things worse. The incident that changed everything. Picture this scene. Manchester United are looking for that early breakthrough against Burnley. The team needs confidence, the fans need something to cheer about, and the pressure is building for a positive result. Then Mason Mount gets his chance. Mount found himself in the perfect position, breaking into the Burnley penalty area with space to shoot. This was exactly the kind of opportunity United had been working for. The England midfielder shaped himself to take the shot that could put United ahead and settle the nerves around Old Trafford. But then Kyle Walker came charging in from behind. The Burnley defender rushed toward Mount and clattered into him with what looked like a reckless challenge. Mount went down, the crowd held its breath, and every United player on the pitch immediately knew what they had seen. The appeal was instant and passionate. United players surrounded the referee, pointing at the penalty spot, their faces showing the kind of certainty that comes from witnessing an obvious foul. The crowd erupted, expecting the inevitable decision that would give their team the breakthrough they desperately needed. When technology disappoints, what happened next left everyone at Old Trafford stunned. After a VAR check that felt both too long and too short at the same time, the officials made their decision. No penalty. Play would continue as if nothing had happened. The silence that followed was deafening. Then came the anger, the disbelief, and the frustration that every United fan knows too well. How could such a clear incident be ignored? How could technology, which was supposed to eliminate these kinds of mistakes, get it so completely wrong? Social media exploded within minutes. United fans shared videos of the incident from every possible angle, each replay making the decision look worse. Comments poured in from supporters around the world, all expressing the same sentiment. This was a clear penalty that VAR somehow missed. But it wasn't just United fans who were shocked. Neutral observers, commentators, and even some Burnley supporters admitted that the decision looked wrong. When people who don't support your team are saying you should have had a penalty, you know something has gone seriously wrong with the officiating. Amorim's visible frustration. The cameras caught everything as Ruben Amorim reacted to the decision on the sidelines. The Portuguese manager, usually composed and tactical in his approach, couldn't hide his frustration. He shook his head repeatedly, his face showing the kind of disbelief that comes from watching an obvious decision go against your team. Amorim gestured toward the fourth official, clearly demanding an explanation for what had just happened. His body language spoke for every United fan watching the game. How do you explain the unexplainable? How do you make sense of a decision that defies logic and common sense? This moment was particularly significant because Amorim has been working hard to build momentum and confidence within his squad. Early goals and positive moments are crucial for teams that are still finding their rhythm. When technology denies you these opportunities, it becomes much harder to build the kind of positive atmosphere that leads to good performances. The ripple effect on the game. Football matches are built on momentum, and the denied penalty had a massive impact on how the rest of the game developed. United should have been celebrating an early lead and playing with the confidence that comes from being ahead. Instead, they found themselves frustrated and questioning whether they would get fair treatment from the officials. Burnley, meanwhile, seemed to grow in confidence after surviving what should have been a penalty. They began to believe they could get something from the game, and their players started to press higher and take more risks. The psychological impact of the decision worked completely in their favor. United suddenly faced a much bigger challenge than they should have. Instead of protecting a lead and building on early success, they had to chase the game while dealing with the mental burden of feeling hard done by the officials. Any manager will tell you how difficult it is to get your players focused on football when they feel the system is working against them. Commentary and expert opinion. The incident didn't go unnoticed by the football world beyond Old Trafford. Commentators covering the game expressed their shock at the decision, with some calling it one of the clearest penalties they had seen all season. Television pundits struggled to understand how VAR had reached its conclusion. Slow-motion replays showed the contact clearly, and from multiple angles the incident looked like a textbook penalty. The more people analyzed it, the worse the decision appeared. Former referees brought in to explain the decision found themselves in the uncomfortable position of trying to defend the indefensible. Their attempts to justify the call only highlighted how wrong it had been, leading to even more criticism of the VAR system. The incident quickly became a talking point on football shows, podcasts, and social media discussions. It wasn't just United fans who were outraged. The football community as a whole seemed to agree that a major mistake had been made. The pattern of poor decisions. For Manchester United fans, this incident felt familiar in the worst possible way. Over recent seasons, there have been multiple occasions where United have felt hard done by VAR decisions. The technology that was supposed to eliminate controversy seems to create more of it, particularly when United are involved. This pattern raises uncomfortable questions about consistency in officiating. Are the standards the same for every team? Do some clubs get the benefit of the doubt more often than others? These questions might sound like conspiracy theories, but when the same team keeps experiencing questionable decisions, fans naturally start to wonder. The frustration is made worse by the fact that United fans often see similar incidents given as penalties when they happen to other teams. The inconsistency in application seems to work against United more often than it helps them, creating a sense that the system isn't as fair as it should be. Impact on player confidence. Imagine being Mason Mount in that moment. You've worked hard to get into a goal-scoring position, you've been fouled clearly inside the penalty area, and then you're told that what you experienced didn't actually happen. How does that affect your confidence and your willingness to drive into dangerous areas in future games? Young players like Mount need to feel that their efforts will be rewarded when they create chances and draw fouls. When the officiating system fails to protect them, it can change how they play. They might become more cautious, less willing to take risks, and less likely to put themselves in positions where they could be fouled. This psychological impact extends beyond individual players to the entire team. When your teammates see you get fouled without protection, it affects everyone's confidence in the system. Players start to feel they need to do more than just outplay their opponents. They also need to overcome biased or incompetent officiating. The fan perspective. United fans have every right to feel frustrated about incidents like this. They pay good money to watch their team play, and they expect fair treatment from officials and technology systems. When clear decisions go against their team, it feels like they're being cheated out of the entertainment and success they've paid to see. The emotional investment that fans make in their teams is enormous. Every game matters, every decision affects their mood, and controversial calls like this can ruin entire weekends. When technology that's supposed to improve the game actually makes it worse, fans have legitimate reasons to complain. Social media has given fans a platform to express their frustration immediately, and the response to this incident showed how widespread the anger was. United supporters from around the world shared their disbelief, creating a global conversation about VAR's failures. What this means for United's season. Early in any season, every point matters, and decisions like this can have consequences that extend far beyond individual games. If United had scored from that penalty, the entire trajectory of the match could have changed. They might have won comfortably instead of struggling to create chances against a defensive Burnley team. More importantly, early goals and positive moments help build the kind of confidence and momentum that teams need to have successful seasons. When technology denies you these opportunities, it becomes much harder to establish the positive patterns that lead to consistent good performances. United are still trying to find their rhythm under Amorim's tactical system. Controversial decisions that go against them make this process even more difficult, adding unnecessary pressure and frustration to an already challenging situation. The bigger VAR problem. This incident at Old Trafford highlights broader problems with how VAR is being used in modern football. The technology was introduced to eliminate clear and obvious errors, but it seems to be creating more controversy than it resolves. Part of the problem is the subjective nature of many football decisions. What looks like a clear penalty to some people might appear less obvious to others. But when the vast majority of observers agree that a decision is wrong, including neutral commentators and former referees, it suggests that the system isn't working as intended. The other issue is consistency. VAR decisions seem to vary depending on the referee, the teams involved, and sometimes even the importance of the game. This inconsistency undermines confidence in the system and creates the kind of controversy that VAR was supposed to eliminate. Learning from other leagues. Looking at how other major leagues handle VAR might provide some lessons for English football. Some countries have implemented the technology more successfully, with fewer controversial decisions and more acceptance from fans and players. The key seems to be clear communication about how decisions are made and consistent application of the rules. When fans understand the process and see it applied fairly to all teams, they're more likely to accept decisions even when they go against their team. English football might need to reconsider how VAR is used and whether changes to the process could improve accuracy and reduce controversy. The current system clearly isn't working as well as it should, and incidents like the one at Old Trafford prove that something needs to change. Moving forward from controversy. Despite the frustration caused by this incident, United must find a way to move forward and focus on future games. Dwelling on controversial decisions, no matter how wrong they might be, won't help the team improve or achieve their goals this season. The challenge for Amorim and his players is to channel their frustration into positive energy that can drive better performances. Sometimes feeling hard done by officials can bring teams together and create the kind of siege mentality that leads to improved results. United fans, meanwhile, need to continue supporting their team while also holding officials accountable for poor decisions. The club needs positive energy from the stands, especially during difficult periods when controversial calls go against them. The role of technology in modern football. This incident raises bigger questions about technology's role in football. VAR was introduced with the best intentions, aiming to make the game fairer and eliminate obvious mistakes. But if it's creating more problems than it solves, should we reconsider how it's used? Some fans now long for the days when referee decisions were final, even if they were sometimes wrong. At least then, mistakes felt human and understandable. When technology makes obvious errors, it feels much more frustrating because we expect computers and video replays to get clear decisions right. The challenge for football authorities is finding the right balance between using technology to improve decision-making while maintaining the flow and spontaneity that make football exciting. Currently, that balance doesn't seem to be working properly. What United fans deserve. As supporters of one of the world's biggest football clubs, United fans deserve fair treatment from officials and technology systems. They deserve to see clear penalties given when their players are fouled, and they deserve consistency in how rules are applied. The incident against Burnley was just one game, but it represents a broader pattern that needs to be addressed. United fans have been patient with poor decisions for too long, and their frustration is completely understandable. Moving forward, the club might need to be more vocal about poor officiating decisions. While complaining publicly won't change individual results, it might help ensure that future decisions are made more carefully and consistently. Conclusion: demanding better standards. The VAR controversy in United's game against Burnley highlights everything that's wrong with how technology is being used in modern football. A clear penalty was ignored, momentum was lost, and fans were left feeling cheated by a system that should have helped their team. At United News, we believe in calling out poor decisions regardless of which team benefits or suffers. Football should be decided by the players on the pitch, not by technological failures or inconsistent officiating. What happened against Burnley was simply not good enough. United fans have every right to feel frustrated about this incident, but they also need to continue supporting their team as they work to overcome these challenges. The best response to poor officiating is often improved performances that put results beyond doubt. As we continue to follow United's season, we'll keep demanding the high standards that this great club deserves, both from our players and from the officials who control our games. At United News, we're committed to honest analysis and fair coverage, and we'll never stop fighting for the treatment that Manchester United and its fans deserve. Keep following United News for more honest analysis, fair coverage, and the kind of passionate support that makes our United community special. Together, we'll continue supporting our beloved Red Devils through every controversy, every challenge, and every triumph that lies ahead.